Okay, so here's a few of the exercises. Band wraps around base of the rib cage, just on the vena cava or the floating ribs, and then wrap it around, breathe out. Now, as you keep a bit of resistance in the band, as you breathe in, fill the band with energy. And it should move into the side of the rib cage here, and more importantly, just into there. If it can't get into the back, if the rib cage is slightly folded in, so you need to think about drawing the rib cage to a horizontal level. So if you use a mirror and you look across into the mirror and the band is level, you're probably going to be about right. So that's the scarf breath. Now, it doesn't want to be so heavy that it's like a it should be like a sleeping baby breath. So think puppies on your rib cage and you're trying to breathe fully, but you're not trying to wake the puppy or the baby up. So that's the first one. And then we're going to go to take the band into the inside of the thumb, wrist area. Have a little bit of a swag in it, so it's not too tight. And then line up the elbows with the tails of the band. They're hanging vertically, so they're always going to hang vertically. Make a couple of fists. As you breathe out, you push one arm up into the air. Now you're trying to track the elbow with the band. Now, if you look at that from the side, it's not a reach forwards. It's you're trying to keep the elbow touching the band, and as you push the arm up in the air, you're really trying to make the top and back of the shoulder here work, not just this muscle of the deltoid on the top. So that's the deltoid working. Keeping this narrow means you engage through the posterior cuff of the shoulder joint, and then as the arm pushes up into the air, you feel like it's really quite hard work. Keep your gaze forwards, alternate. Sometimes it's easier if you're going to do the right arm to step forward left, and you feel like you're engaging through the back line of the hip as well, and then back in. And the other thing to think about again is back into the rib cage. If you tip forwards like this, then it's going to make it really hard to switch on the opposite side of the hip, which is going to make it really hard to switch on the opposite side of the shoulder, which is also going to make it really difficult for the shoulder blade to glide and slide as you reach the arm forward. So try and keep the ribs in, try and feel that you're staying nice and horizontal again with that rib cage. Make a strong fist so that you engage the posterior cuff, lengthen through the bones, breathing out and breathing in. Stay nice and controlled. So we're going to take the band under the feet. So take about the middle of it. So it's supported. Think about your ground. So you want to be on toes and heels. And you want to just enough resistance in the band. I'm taking it through the back of the palm so that you've got a sense of resistance through there. Now, as I'm turning my jaw, my face, my shoulder, my hip, and I'm bringing the weight onto the side I'm turning to. I'm still reaching through, keeping the consistent pressure in the band, and then I'm pulling back to center. And then I'm twisting the other way. I'm bringing the weight onto my right foot as I twist right, keeping the energy through the arms. And then as I breathe in, it's almost like my body is being pulled back by the band. And then I have to use my hip and my thigh to create the final bit of movement into the band, which tenses up and then slings me back into space. So that's our kind of replicates the coil and recoil through the hamstrings and the glutes. So it's quite a nice exercise. Enough resistance to feel some work here, but not strain. And then we take the band onto the floor, make a little tail, come and stand on it with both feet, heels together. You kind of just wrap the band over your shoulder, wind it up like a cigar, and then once it feels a bit tight, you can then bring it over the crown of the head. Don't do that with the hair because it's going to pull you in. So you're looking at that sense of thing. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see it. So lay the band in there. Now this gives you a sense of resistance as you bend forward, but also a sense of what's happening. Gives you a bit of feedback. So keep the band on the crown of the head. Keep the elbows just in the edge of your peripheral vision. So you're not opening, you're not closing. Just staying nice and 50-50. And then just reconnect in here. You should feel there's a little hollow here, but it shouldn't be a big gaping hole, and you shouldn't lose your ribs against it. And then think about the sequence in order. Keep pushing up through the crown of the head, tuck the chin. The band tension's a fraction. It's not really tight, it's just a little bit of resistance. And then as you continue to breathe out, continue to roll. But as you go forwards, it's almost like you go backwards and up to go forwards. It's like you're rolling over something. And as you go down, you get to the point where the band starts to make really good contact with the back of the body. Now hold that shape, breathe into the band again. Think about it as a breathing exercise. And then as you start to breathe out, engage through the heels. Keep the weight on the toes, pull the sit bones down to level, square up the pelvis. And then start to bring the body back up on top of the hip. Now as you go up, you shouldn't be losing the band and pushing the ribcage forwards. Rather, think lift through the crown of the head and keep that gap as small as possible behind you. Breathe in and repeat. So maybe 4, 5, 6. Now, going to change it a little bit. We're going to put it a roller up against the a wall. So I'll move the camera so you can see kind of. Perfect. And it's a bit high. I'm just going to come back to it. Oh no, it's gone. So you're going to have your arms vertical with the in line with your shoulders. So it looks a bit like that on the roller. And then both arms push vertically up towards the ceiling. You're breathing, you're trying to keep your forearms parallel. You're trying to keep the wrists from rotating. If you really want to stop the elbows from pushing out, stay nice and narrow, and then glide the shoulders onto the rib cage as the elbows bend and pull back. You can add load, you can take load away, you can step forward one leg, you can step forward the other leg, and just play with that, moving. So they're the exercises.